and Aaron says he's done the roll call. So item number 3, I guess, is to reappoint people to run the meeting. So I think maybe I'll let Eric or Aaron handle the part of it here for that part of it, and I'll stay out of it till you're ready. So, yep. All right. All right. All right. Don Ayers, and I'm in Alma.
Present in Alma, Michigan.
Present, Alma, Michigan.
Present in Alma, Michigan.
Present in Crystal, Michigan.
Present in Alma, Michigan.
Present in Alma, Michigan.
All right. So anyway, yeah, now that that's done, the third item on the agenda was to appoint chairman, vice chairman, and secretary. So I think maybe I'm going to let Eric handle that
Sure.
For
Sure.
the nominations and all that.
Yep, we can do that. There are 3 nominees on the agenda. Chair Don Ayers to continue, Vice Chair Jim Wheeler, and Secretary Heather Therian. So if that is agreeable to everybody, you have a motion to appoint those 3 individuals, and with my thanks for sure. So,
Make motion.
Support.
all right, we have a motion by Mapes and support by Pitts. All in favor, say aye and a thumbs up.
Aye.
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 And a nay, thumbs down. All right, unanimous. I'll turn the meeting back over
Congratulations,
to you.
everybody.
That's right. I'm very happy about that.
I guess I'm it
over to
again.
you, John.
I'm it again. All right. All right. Just to let everybody know, there's been a change in the agenda for tonight. Item number 8 for setting a public hearing for a PUD amendment has been withdrawn from Gemini Capital. So we won't be having that tonight. And the other thing I'd like to mention is we've got a discussion about something that might be a little hot topic for everybody tonight. Tonight is not the public hearing. I will let people make comments and stuff, but we're going to limit the amount of time people make comments. This is more for the board to make the decisions on, and if we go ahead with it, we will set a public hearing where everybody can speak, and we'll go from there. So just to let everybody know that, okay? So with that, I will entertain a motion for to approve the minutes of the last meeting, May 3rd, 2021 of the Planning Commission, unless there's any changes.
Move to approve.
Support.
I got motion and support. All those in favor can give me a thumbs up and an eye.
Aye.
Aye.
And it doesn't look like anybody's going to vote no, so that passes. All right, the next one is a public hearing for a special use permit request for temporary outdoor sales of fireworks has been received by Jake's Fireworks, located in the parking lot at 2805 West Cheesman Road. It's the Meyer parking lot. The proposed dates for the sale are June 23rd, 2021 to July 5th, 2021. And with that, I'll turn it over to Eric for staff comment, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. As you mentioned, it's we got a application for outdoor sales of fireworks. It's becoming pretty standard for us. The hours of operation, as you mentioned, are June 23rd through July 5th. Hours of operation 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is Zone B2 general business, and this is permitted through a special use permit for outdoor sales. Jake's Fireworks, Representative Tom Dunn is here. They've provided everything that we need from a standpoint of the setup of the tent, fire retardant of the tent, and the location for movement of traffic through the parking lot. The tent's going to be 30 foot by 50. They provided their lease agreement with the property owner and proof of insurance. They also provided evacuation plan for the tent as required, and they did provide their state of Michigan license for sales of fireworks. If this is approved tonight, we'll send on the special use permit copies and information to the Public Safety Department for their information for those days, and obviously send a certificate down to Jake's Fireworks. That's all I have.
All right. Anybody got any comments or questions?
Grand Rapids Walker Standell, a building in Muskegon, a building in Holland, a building in Portage, and then another building in Auburn Hills. So we do have a brick and mortar footprint in the state as well as our temporary locations.
Yeah, hopefully the fireworks sales go good for you this year. You may have been curtailed a little bit last year, weren't you? Or...
Yeah, we did. We were lucky enough to get product in last year. This year, now we're fighting like everybody else, shipping containers, trying to get that stuff in on time. So it's trickling in a little late, little tight for us where we'd like to be at this time of year, but I think we're actually going to have product. So we're sitting in a good spot right now.
That's good to hear. Okay, any member of the public or anybody else on the planning commission got any comments or questions? All right, I guess, do I have to have a motion to close the hearing then? Yep, entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved, Wheeler.
Support.
I'm sorry. Is just the whole thing's being closed right now?
No, just this part about the fireworks.
Okay, all right. Because I'm also taking notes and I thought I missed something. I'm so sorry.
No. Okay, thank you. Anyway, I got motion and support to close public hearing. All those in favor, give me a thumbs up.
Aye.
All right, that looks like it passed. So public hearing is closed. With that, I'll entertain a motion to either reject or approve his request for the temporary sales.
Move approval.
Support.
Got motion and support to approve the fireworks sales. All those in favor, thumbs up.
Aye.
Anybody thumbs down? I don't see anybody. So, all right, with that, it passes. Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it.
All right.
4th of July.
That moved along quick. All right, let's see. Number 6, conditional zoning request. Lori and John Reinhardt have submitted a draft conditional rezoning on behalf of Bob and All Investments for 314 through 322 East Center Street to allow the use of outdoor sales of vehicles at this location. This is not allowed within the B1 Central Business District, but can be considered under the conditional zoning ordinance, rezoning ordinance, including with the packet, our draft conditional rezoning agreement with a proposed primary and additional use restrictions and site plan. With that, we're supposed to look at the site plan and then review and see about the conditional rezoning and then recommend to the city commission if we so desire. So with that, we'll let Eric fill us in on what's going on and we'll go from there.
And Don, this is also the public hearing portion also.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep. Sorry about that. It is also the public hearing portion.
All right. We'll let you go and then I'll open the public hearing.
Okay. We're going to handle this in a couple different ways. We can do this kind of all at once. We're going to read through the conditional rezoning conditions of the rezoning agreement. And then from there, we'll also incorporate the site plan that we seen last month also. And so we can first, then we'll approve the site plan. And once we close the public hearing and then approve the site plan, and then we can approve or recommend the conditions of the conditional rezoning. As we've talked about before, with conditional rezoning, the statement of conditions covers the property described in the property owner letter of voluntary conditions. And these have been presented by Bob and All Investments. The statement of conditions shall be binding upon the benefit of the owner's neighborhood in the city of Alma, their heirs, successors, and assignees, and shall run with the property. So if they sell the property, this stays with it as long as the new individual follows those conditions and uses it as the same use. The list of conditional rezoning potentially granted to the owner is based upon conditions which were voluntarily offered. The conditions and limitations use of the property is by which the city would grant a conditional rezoning. The voluntary conditions are as follows. The primary use restrictions, 314 East Superior Street would be in part for used vehicle sales with outdoor sales area in the adjacent parking lot. No on-site vehicle repairs. Damaged vehicles to be stored off-site or in the building. The shared parking lot striped will be restriped and accommodate 24 spaces for sellable vehicles as approved on the site plan. The remainder of the lot will be for customers and for the used car lot and for the commercial spaces at 314 and 322 East Center Street. The used vehicle hours of operation will be between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Owner shall provide a change of use plan and other required permits to the appropriate building trade inspections locally and the state of Michigan. And additional restrictions will utilize the existing light fixtures on the building and the existing light poles in the parking area. A green space will be created and maintained between the parking lot and East Center Street. Signage will consist of one unlighted sign for both businesses at 314 East Center Street on front of the building, and the exterior trash receptacles will be concealed to the right of the building. Now we go right into the site plan. Site plan will reconfigure the planning plaza parking lot to include 28 spaces in the display car parking area. The conditional rezoning is requesting 24 for sellable cars. There are 49 regular spaces provided and 6 ADA spaces provided. Shopping centers, and this is what we consider this particular plaza, require 6 per 1,000 square foot of usable floor space. So 84 are required. We have a total of 83, and we feel as staff that this is a sufficient number to provide. The spaces that are provided are 9 foot by 20. We require them to be 9 foot by 18 and a half. Maneuvering lane provided are between 24 and 25 feet, and we require 24 feet for that. The lighting, like we mentioned in the conditional part of it, they're utilizing 2 poles that are in the parking lot and 3 wall lights on the building. Landscaping, as we mentioned, they will be removing the asphalt from the property line and the street curb along East Center to plant grass and provide a green buffer. Planting 6 ornamental trees within the right-of-way, species of the trees to be approved by city forester. The waste disposal, receptacles will be located to the rear of the portion of the building, and these will just be roll-away carts. So they're not going to be full-size dumpsters. And that's to take into account one comment. The only one comment that we did receive was about the dumpster and where it was located. So the owner is willing to use rollaways for their trash removal, which is basically what we use for residential. Additional staff comments. If the conditional rezoning is approved by the city commission, the owner shall apply for and receive the required permits, like we mentioned, for the building, electrical, plumbing needed to change of use. A sign permit will be required, and the owner must maintain the approved site plan. No changes can be made without resubmitting amendments to the planning commission. And I know Lori is on the line tonight. I don't know if Chuck made it tonight, but Lori's here to answer any questions. Who will be running the car shop with her husband, John, and her other business with furniture. So that's all I have from staff.
All right. I was going to ask you about the one comment, but you already addressed that. So with that, I'll open the hearing to the public for any comments or questions, as well as the planning commission members. Questions or comments?
One comment or question for Eric. The dumpster enclosures that would be on the east side of that building. So this new dumpster is in addition to that?
Yes,
rollaway.
the rollaways will be in addition. Yep, because that dumpster is for Elva Aquero.
They'll still be stored outdoors though.
Yes.
Is there any provision to buffer that with a fencing or any kind of anything? Kind of hide it?
I don't. We could. Lori, what do you think about that? We went down to the rollaways, which are kind of what we would do for a residential area. So, brought it way
Right.
down from what the size usually would be.
That's all I see us having is a trash bin like any home would have, 1 or 2 plastic trash bins that would go out to the curb every week.
Right, they wouldn't actually be sitting outside all week. They'd just be taken out on trash day. Is that correct? For the most part?
We have room to store them inside. I was going to put them around behind the back.
I was just asking, did the neighbor agree with that, Eric, that you know of? I mean,
She was concerned about, according to her letter, she was concerned about the dumpster. If there ever was a flood, that would pick that dumpster up and take it downstream. Talking with Lori, she was willing to use what we use in a residential area. So, so we figured that was a good compromise by far. Considering that we have 2 dumpsters in that location already. One being for El Aquero on the east side that Greg mentioned, and there's one that Sherwin-Williams uses also in the rear portion of the building.
Yeah, I didn't really foresee it being a problem with a rollaway one like a residential. I think that probably worked just fine. So I just was asking if that was something you were going to keep inside, but
it's pretty shaded from a standpoint of viewing. It is pretty shaded back there. And our ordinance does say that all dumpsters must be enclosed, but it's technically not a dumpster. It's a rollaway. But if that's something that the commission want to do, and if Lori was willing to, put up it's a shield or something there, because they just be rolled around. But that would be.
I believe the rollaway is fine. It's just like a residential. That's the house is next door and across the street, so I believe it's fine for and I appreciate Lori willing to listen to our new neighbors and reducing that for them. So thanks, Lori, for offering to do that.
any questions from anybody else?
Okay, I would have 2 questions. It states under primary use restrictions that the used vehicle hours of operation will be between 9 and 7. Is this like 7 days a week? Do we specify just did you
I'm
understand?
not sure what the second question was.
No, it states here, operation will be between 9 and 2 p.m. So should we put down like the weekdays, the days, or is it like every single day?
No, I wrote it that way, 9 to 7, because there would be a couple days where it was later, like probably like 11 to 7, and then the rest of the week it would be more like 9 to 5. So I wrote it that way so that the hours fit in between 9 and 7.
Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday?
Saturday, Monday through Saturday.
Maybe we should write this down too.
If Lori's agreeable to it being Monday through Saturday, that's fine. We could, but Lori has to be agreeable to that.
Okay.
Is there a problem allowing it 7 days a week?
No.
Well, probably yes. For being so close to downtown, I think Sunday is, I don't know.
Yeah. Most
we have a
dealers
number of
can't
other
do any-
businesses that are open on Sunday downtown.
Most dealers can't do any business on Sunday anyway, because you can't get into the state to do anything, or the banks, or any place where they're trying to apply for credit and stuff. So most dealers aren't open on Sunday anyway. I'm just going by what past experience there. I think
Okay.
you agree.
I
That
never
is
would
true
be open
today.
on Sunday.
Hmm?
I said I never would be open on Sunday, so.
Any other questions or comments or? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close this hearing.
Support.
We got motion and support to close public hearing. All those in favor, give me a thumbs up.
Aye.
It looks like we got it all there. All right, thank you very much. For public hearing is closed. And Eric, the next part of this, you can.
We need to approve first the site plan that's been presented.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the site plan as presented.
Move to approve.
Got motion and support. All those in favor to approve the site plan, give me thumbs up.
Aye.
It looks like it passed there too. So, all right. And so we're all set on the site plan.
Yep.
What was the next part there?
We need
Is that
to
it?
make a recommendation to Plan Commission on the conditions of the the conditional use.
All right. I'll entertain a motion for that next.
Make a motion to set the conditions and recommend it to the city commission.
I'll support.
All right. A motion and support to recommend to the city commission.
Does that
As
include
presented.
Don, does that include the Sunday discussion, or are we leaving it 7 days a week?
I think 7 days a week in there is fine. I mean, they have no intentions of being open anyway. So, but like Greg said, there's a lot of other businesses open on Sunday anyway. So if they choose to open for an hour or two, I don't see a problem with it.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that was in the motion.
Yep.
Okay.
So, all right, got motion and support. All those in favor, thumbs up.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, looks like it passed. Congratulations, Lori.
Thank you.
So that was it, right, Eric?
Yep. That's it for this this item. Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again, and welcome to Alma selling cars.
Well, this will be presented to City Commission at their next meeting, so we got another step to go.
Well, yeah, but I'm probably no reason to think they won't pass it, but you never know. But anyway, welcome anyway, because we probably won't see you again here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lori.
All right. Let's
Thank
see.
you, everybody.
All right. With that, we're going to number 7, which is the site plan review for 315 and 319 East Superior. Gemini Capital Management is proposing to construct a 6,600 square foot commercial building on the vacant lot. The parcel is located just west of East Superior and Pine Avenue intersection. The property is zoned B1, general to business. The proposed uses are permitted use in the B1 Central Business District. The project requires a site plan approval by the Planning Commission. So anyway, I'll let Eric explain what's going on, and then I don't know if Ryan's here or not. But
Yep. Yeah, Ryan is on the line. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'll just go through our typical site plan review items, and then Ryan can give you some more color on this pretty exciting project. As you mentioned, this is 315 and 319 East Superior, which is the location of the green space that a fire happened in 2016. So this is great that we're going to see a brand new building coming back down on it. The building is 6,600 square feet. It'll be a 2-story tall building at the front with a roof that drains back to the alleyway. The lot size, we don't have to really worry about that too much in the B1 because there is no lot coverage requirements or maximums or minimums within the B1, and we do not have any setbacks. But the lot size is 13,939 square feet. The building height, like we mentioned, is a 2-story building at 26 feet. We don't have to worry about setbacks there. The north-south alley, there is a proposed west wall drive-up window. The alley would be left a 2-way. It's wide enough that we could continue to keep traffic and moving both ways. It's not a big, heavily traveled alley, and there's no sense closing it down unless we have to. As things change, then maybe we could talk to City Commission about doing that. But at the moment, we feel it's wide enough to handle the traffic both ways. Vehicles would access the window off of the Pine Avenue alley heading east, then south onto the north-south alley. That's where the window is located, heading towards Superior. The window will also be accessible from the north-south alley coming down from Downey Street, heading south towards Superior Street there too. The use of the alley, like I said, we need to have the City Commission approval for the window. But if you ever wanted to close it or make it a one-way, that would take a traffic control order by the City Commission. Parking, I did have to make a change in my comments that I have on the memo to you. The north side of the building, there will be that is not for parking. That's more of a staging area for the two businesses. The dumpster enclosure will be located on the north side of the building, 10 foot away from the wall as required by ordinance and fire code. Landscaping, we don't require landscaping in a lot line build like we do have in the downtown here with this particular location. What's cool about this project, there will be a front yard patio that is 20 foot by 100 foot along adjacent to East Superior Street. So after what we've seen happen this last year, having that extra patio space for tables and people to have dinner and those sort of things is a great thing to have. For lighting, there are 9 gooseneck lighting fixtures on the East Superior front of the building that light up the patio, and there are 4 gooseneck lighting fixtures that are shown on the alley to light up the alley along the west side of the building. Also under staff comments, since I wrote these comments, I have learned that the parcels are not split; they have been combined. So the comments that we made that we've asked for the water connections and sewer connections to be moved to the east a little bit to straddle the property line. That is not a requirement because there is no property line there anymore. It is a combined one parcel. So that is not required. East Superior Street restoration to match existing profile or restored to the as directed by the MDOT permit. Contractor is responsible for the detour routes and barricading when that work's being done on East Superior Street. The contractor developer is responsible to restore the sidewalk and the brick in the original pattern once that work is all completed. Approval of the site plan approval is based on a site plan compliance, receiving permits from Public Works for the water, sewer, and storm connections, and permits obtained before construction. And then, of course, when the tenants get moved in and all that, the good stuff, that they apply for a sign permit for their signage on the building. But that's all the comments that we had, and it looks like it's going to be a wonderful project for downtown and Alma.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have something in that empty space, even though when the grass was growing, it didn't look too bad, but when it was just dirt, it didn't look that great. But anyway, it's exciting to have somebody actually build a new building downtown. So, anybody else got any comments or questions?
A couple things I've got. First off, it's an exciting project. It does look like it's going to be a wonderful addition to town, and thank you to Mr. Smith for bringing this to us, and I'm excited to see this come to fruition. But I do have some questions about the stacking of the drive-up window. Is that, and I can't tell from the layout here, I presume the stacking is going to happen in the public right-of-way of the alleys?
Yes, it would have to if there is going to be stacking. It's
he's going to build up to the right-of-way of the alley.
Yeah.
So the cars will be lined up in the alley.
Yep.
And potentially from off of Pine and then turning the corner into the south into the other alley, correct?
That is correct, because the only way to access to make it on the driver's side would have to come in that direction you just described, or coming from the north from Downey Street down the alley that way also. to keep it on that side of the vehicle.
So that essentially is potentially converting some public property into a more private use. Is there any compensation or agreement to maintain any of that pavement while he's converting it to private use?
I'll let Ryan, do you have something to say?
Well, I would argue that having a car parked for 1 to 2 minutes while getting their coffee in the alley is not private use. In addition, I would also say that the city hasn't been maintaining the alley to a high degree as it stands today. The intention is to replace a section of the alley during our construction that we damaged, because we will be having equipment on it and we will be building to the property line. So it is our intention to basically fix or repair a portion of the alley, but not the entire alleyway running north and south. I also discussed this with the city officials multiple times before bringing this to site plan review, and was told that this wouldn't be an issue.
I'm just curious. I know when you did another project down that was adjacent to one of my properties, you built a stairwell coming down in the alley, and as compensation for that, you took over the maintenance of that alleyway, the concrete there.
Correct, but that alley was vacated to me. This alley, I'm not requesting to be vacated.
I don't believe we vacated that alley, did we?
Yes. I'm pretty sure we did.
We gave the easement to the property to use the access, and for that, they would maintain the alley and so, snow removal, all that kind of stuff.
But it was not vacated. Is that true?
I don't believe
I
we
think
vacated.
I think we granted the easement
Granted
in lieu of that, but the access, but.
Yes, you're right. There was an easement. It wasn't vacated. And I believe the easement was required because the staircase was a permanent structure.
And that was the agreement there. Yeah. Obviously, I guess with if you want me, take a better, more detailed look, Greg, at the time period that the window would be used, that sort of thing, I can do that and bring back information to the next meeting.
Yeah, obviously I have no idea what they're selling through this drive-through window. I don't know what kind of stacking you would anticipate.
It's like coffee, and it's not going to be, it's an alley that's very rarely used. So I don't think it's going to be a traffic jam. Usually people get coffee before the businesses open downtown. So the Morning Sun doesn't have that many cars there, and the dollar store, I don't believe, opens quite early. I don't know, maybe 7 or 8. But I don't see an issue with using that alley. It would be nice to be used. And I agree with Ryan that the city hasn't kept it up. So we shouldn't put it on someone that's trying to build a business and bring it downtown.
But I still
agree
need
that
to.
It's a great use. Eric,
All right, Greg. I'm sorry, Greg. I didn't interrupt.
I was just gonna say I agree that it's a great use, and I also would certainly agree that the city has not been able to maintain those alleys, or has not maintained those alleys. But taking on additional responsibility, or assuming the same responsibility for a heavier use, doesn't make a lot of sense that the taxpayers should have to take the burden either.
Well, we can agree to disagree.
I do. Well, the window still does have to come to city commission, to use that there, to have the window there and use, having a stop vehicle that is not just standing, for deliveries, that sort of thing. So we would still have to bring it to city commission for approval. So we could take a little more look at that and bring it to you and get some more information.
And certainly, as Michelle said, as of everybody's surrounding uses today, there's absolutely no problem. Very little traffic through there and everything. But as we all know, and we deal with problems that were created 50 years ago because of the conditions that were current at the time. We've allowed people to do things, or our ancestors, our forefathers had allowed people to do things that are causing headaches for us today because things change. Building uses change, property changes, and your neighbors will change. So I'm just trying to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and looking out for what future generations are going to want to do and what his future neighbors are going to want to do. I do not, I'm not, my intention is certainly not to demean this project. I think it's a wonderful project. I'm very excited about it. I just want to make sure we think through things fully. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. So anybody else got any questions or comments? And
Well, I'm not,
go ahead.
I'm not sure that I have any part in this. So somebody tell me if it's okay if I go ahead.
It's okay with me. I'll
Okay.
take a comment.
Thank you. Hi, Ryan. I'm Chuck Griffith. I'm a designer and I stand before this commission a number of times through the year. And as I listen to this, I can't help think of my old buddy Hal Smith. And one of the items that he would bring up, as cars are exiting that alleyway to the south, they will be approaching the city sidewalk. And what provisions are we going to make that somebody isn't caught in the crossfire? I know of a couple of cases where Hal wouldn't even let it go beyond the administrative part because we had cars exiting where pedestrians and that wouldn't see them, or where the cars couldn't see the pedestrians. I would also like to point out, if we were doing this any place other than in the right downtown district, and there was a parking lot involved, we would require the same type of building to provide both parking and a stacking area for their drive-up window. That's all I've got.
Now, from my standpoint, I see what you mean about people walking through there or whatever, but there's already an alleyway there that people would have to watch for cars. So I don't really see that being that big of an issue. And I don't think you're going to have stack up or lines like you see maybe at some of the other fast food places either. So I don't see that really being that big of a problem. That's just my opinion.
One nice thing about this, Don, is there is that 20-foot stretch in front of it. So the building doesn't actually go
Doesn't
up to the
sit all the way
sidewalk in this case.
Yep.
That's true. I overlooked that.
Yep. You're
Good
right.
chunk of visibility. It's from the other direction. It might be a challenge, but.
Right.
Is there, and Eric, excuse my ignorance, maybe you know this. I mean, because we do have public alleys that cross the sidewalk. We don't have any other restrictions placed upon any of those, correct?
No.
Just want to make sure. Thank you.
Nope. As long as people are, obeying a downtown speed, it works pretty well. I mean, obviously, there's sometimes people, there was always that one that might be doing something, but typically we don't have that going on. And
So we could post a reminder for drivers as well to be very careful of pedestrian cross traffic there when they get to the site.
we could definitely make a couple signs and have that posted for. Yeah, definitely.
Even a mirror, you could do some of those mirrors, how you have around the corners that might be appropriate out there someplace. If there's someplace you could post one.
All right. Any other comments, questions? And I'm just going to assume, Ryan, that you're talking about the part you're going to repair is probably going to be the part next to your building going up by the window, right?
Actually, there's a foundation from the previous building that burnt down that runs north and south about, without getting the survey out, I just say about 50% of it. And so when we dig up the old foundation, we will be disturbing the soils and the asphalt in the alley because there's no way to dig it out because they abut one another. So we will be fixing that area.
Ryan,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ryan, what is your intended use for the upper story?
Technically, there isn't an upper story. The building is 2 stories in height, but it has a large open ceilings throughout the building. There is a small mezzanine in the west side tenant's area for some audio visual equipment that they plan to store up in the mezzanine area, but there isn't a standard 2-story second floor at all. This is just a large open building that measures 2 stories in height.
And will it be 2 separate uses on the main floor, or is it all the coffee shop?
There's 2 separate on the plans. It shows 2 separate. It's a restaurant and the coffee shop.
Yes.
On the plans,
I see.
it shows it.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like a really nice building. It really does. All right. Anybody else got anything? All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the site plan and recommend it to the city commission where they can discuss the alleyway a little more if they want to. And
I'll move it. Wheeler.
I'll second.
all right, I got motion and support to approve it and send it to the city commission. All those in favor say aye and thumbs up.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, looks like it passed. And then I could do that, right, Eric? Both of them at the
Yes.
same time?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Ryan.
everybody, for that. All right, the next one, we skipped number 8. So number 9, Masonic Pathway Conditional Rezoning Information. Provided in the packet is a memo from staff regarding Masonic Home's request and some background from Bethany Christian Services regarding the program, the conditional rezoning use requested. Representatives from Masonic Home and Bethany Christian Services will be in attendance to discuss and answer questions. And with that, like I said earlier, this isn't actually a public hearing. I don't mind taking a few little comments and stuff, but if this goes through where we're going to do a full public hearing, that'll be where everybody really gets a chance to air. So this is going to be mostly the planning commission. So with that, I'll let Eric take over and we'll go from there.
Yeah. As it mentions in the agenda, we did provide a memo from the staff and some details from Bethany Christian Services on the program they run. Masonic Home would be the requester for the conditional rezoning for the use to be at the location of the former Warwick Living Center. Todd Mulligenberg is here representing the Masonic Home. So what I'm going to have, you guys can read, so I'm not going to go through my memo there. I'm just going to have Todd start off and talk a little bit about how this idea came to the Masonic, and then they came to the city to request a conditional rezoning. So Todd, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Eric. I believe Eric sent out just a quick memo this morning to everybody, but just a little history here. I mean, Masonic Home bought Warwick Living Center, a few years ago, actually end of 2014. So we've been operating the place as a skilled nursing facility until this lovely past year. And just like a lot of other places, I mean, this COVID pandemic has done numbers on lots of folks, including operations for long-term care nursing. That being the case, when as management and taking it to our board, looking at the operations there, is determined that 204 beds at my affectionate term, the big house at Pathways, and then 45 beds at Warwick was a little bit too much for the pandemic to handle. So we wound up merging the operations of both, which freed up that building. So it's been sitting vacant since March 5th through a mutual business connection. We were approached by Bethany and had some conversations with them to look at using that for a transitional center for children. And after discussing with them, looking at the mission that they do as an organization, thought it was a great fit for all of us involved. And it's kind of where we sat now. So we're asking you all as the planning commission to look at the conditional rezoning, realize it's set up now is an R3 for, convalescent living, which obviously having, young men, youth, 12 to 17 years old. Obviously, it's not convalescent living. So conditional rezoning would be the best approach or best way to go. So that's why we are here tonight, to give some information to you all and try to answer some questions and go from there. So that's my take on it. I know there's two or three representatives from Bethany out there. If you guys would like to chip in and add anything, please.
Sure. Thanks, Todd. I'll at a minimum introduce myself, and I'm happy to answer questions as well and kind of point to the team members on the screen as well. So my name's Krista Stevens. I'm the Executive Branch Director for our Lansing branch at Bethany Christian Services. Our Lansing branch covers several of the local and neighboring counties, including Gratiot County. So that's why I'm here today. I have a couple other team members on the line. Sandra is here, and she works in a similar program that we have a little bit closer to Lansing. And then I have Lucas on the line as well. And he is operating a similar program out of our Grand Rapids area. And then I believe Scott was on the call. He's also oh, there you are, Scott. Sorry. Pictures move around on the screen sometimes. So Scott is also on our Bethany team and happy to answer any questions. Would it be helpful if I kind of to reinforce, Todd, what you said, kind of go through like a quick fact sheet of the kiddos that would be at the shelter and kind of what we're looking to accomplish? Would that be helpful for everyone?
Krista, this is Eric. I think that if you could just like kind of start from the beginning of how Bethany became involved with this program, how it's funded, and the length of time that you've been involved with it, your experiences, and just kind of run through that. And then if you'd like to speak to what you would see as how the center here in Alma could possibly be used, if that would probably
Sure.
be helpful.
Sure. Well, so Bethany Christian Services has a local presence, a Michigan presence, a national and worldwide presence. But Bethany started out of the Grand Rapids area and has been ministering and serving in the area of child welfare for 77 years. Since 2013, we have been able to assist over 10,000 unaccompanied children and families. So we've been doing this work for a while. This isn't new to us, but it is new to this specific area. So we have a lot of expertise, and there's various people on the call today with me that could speak to that. The kiddos, assuming we can move forward, the kiddos who would be in this shelter would be between the ages of 12 to 17. So they are young boys. They are fleeing their current home of origin, which is typically Central America, and coming to the United States unaccompanied, meaning they're minors and they don't have a parent with them for whatever reason. They're fleeing for reasons of trafficking, persecution, violence, real legitimate reasons. And so entities like Bethany work with the federal government to provide a safe temporary place for them. So the shelter in particular would be housing them temporarily until we can get them to a family member somewhere in the United States, ideally, and we're able to do that successfully about 95% of the time. I mentioned the federal government because that is where the funding comes from. So we work with Lutheran Immigrant Refugee Services, which is known as LIRS, and we also work with ORR, which is the Office of Refugee and Resettlement. So we work directly with those entities to take these kiddos into our care and find a safe, permanent place for them. Regarding the Masonic relationship and the specific location, Todd hit on this already, but the fact that it was serving a community in a residential setting previously makes this an ideal setup for what we're looking to do. So we're looking to have these children in the shelter full time. They're minors, so they would never be unsupervised. Everything that happens is inside that building. And we have a lot of services there for them, basically everything they could need. So just like a nursing home, you would need things like proper security, bedrooms, right? Proper facilities, meal places, everything that you could do in the house, if it will. We will also be having other supports because these are minors who are having to get acclimated to the United States. So we do have teaching staff, we have therapists, clinicians, caseworkers, a long, comprehensive list of people that would be rallying around these kiddos while they're with us. So hopefully that helps answer the initial questions. I'm happy to answer follow-up questions as well. Sandra, Lucas, Scott, feel free to supplement me on anything that I missed.
You know, just from, again, from the Masonics perspective, and me, I grew up in this community, and we're looking at, correct me if I'm off base a little bit, but give or take 50 jobs or more. That would be, that will be good paying jobs. Chris already hinted at it, to be clinicians, teachers, case managers, social workers. So that angle of it is a big positive for the community. The other big piece is that, you know, she already said that these are coming from Central America. A lot of them are Spanish speaking students. You got, you know, a Spanish program at Alma College that college students could be utilized for internships. Central Michigan, same thing. You got social worker programs from all the local colleges, SVSU, MSU, Central Michigan, that can tap into that type of thing for awesome training for their future careers too. So overall, it keeps a building not empty, which is a huge win for the community, but it's also providing a great mission-driven work here. So,
and to add to that, Todd, we're obviously at the early stages of this, but we're being really intentional with sourcing from the community. So getting things like produce from the community. We would have some furniture needs. So really researching that and trying to put some tangible money and resources back local, specific to Alma, specific to Gratiot County.
So if you'll permit me, this is Scott DeVries, and I'm also with Bethany. I'm Bethany's Chief Financial Officer. And so we became connected with Michigan Masonic Home through a mutual business relationship that made us aware of the opportunity that this facility had recently become vacant. And so this is a real opportunity for us to meet a growing and great need in the country. And Bethany really believes that this program is a wonderful alternative to the larger scale facilities that you might have seen in other communities. So a 36-bed facility. We operate a couple other facilities that same size. We have expertise and experience in caring for children in a setting like this. And so, Krista, it'd probably really be good to emphasize maybe the staffing ratios that we work with, as well as maybe a re-emphasis on how well cared for the children are and how they really don't interact in the community unless they are highly supervised.
Right, absolutely. So we mentioned staffing. That's a critical part of what we do. The ratios are small, generally a 6-to-1, depending on the caseworker or the staff member involved, but typically a 6-to-1. Like I said, everything is in-house for the vast majority. So what I mean by that is everything the children need is physically in that building, in this proposed building. Everything from their bedrooms to their meals to the teaching staff. But that's not for the sake of confining them. That's for the sake of keeping them safe and offering all the services that they would need in one place. So they would never be unsupervised. They're supervised 24/7. A lot of what they do is actually in the actual building and around it. Even, exercise and whatnot is done in the lawn area. We have security setups as well, as is a requirement by the government as well as the state of Michigan. We are held to our own set of standards. within Bethany as well as at a higher level, right? So state of Michigan licensing, there's a lot of close oversight there. There's federal government oversight. We work directly with LIRS in terms of accountability and maintaining these children's safety. And to Scott's point earlier, we're there, it's really pretty self-contained. We're not in the community a lot. The children are not in our care for long periods of time. This is a transitional home. So they are with us on average 40 days, at maximum 36 children at a time.
Krista, you had mentioned that there's some oversight. There are different standards in that. Is that something you could get for us that we would be able to see what those are?
Yeah,
I think that would be
absolutely.
helpful for the commission to see those.
No problem. Probably not enough time to go over all that today. Happy to get you whatever you need. Yeah.
If this comes to the next step, I'm sure there seems to be interest in what kind of background checks or whatever would happen for these kids, just to screen for violent behavior.
Sure. So the technical term of this shelter or this facility is an assessment center. So there's that piece once they get to us, but there is a screening process from the moment they enter the United States to the moment they come through our doors to the moment they leave our doors. So that is a continual ongoing process. And I mentioned oversight. There's oversight from several different entities at a federal level, at a state level, at an agency level.
Eric and Matt, how much have you heard from the community regarding this? Because I have personally been approached by maybe even 200 people regarding this situation. So I just wondered what City Hall has heard about it.
Yeah, Michelle, I would tell you it's we've received a lot of phone calls, some correspondence that came to you in writing. Our response to this point has been, and I'm seeing some things in the chat and trying to explain the process that has to be gone through. This is at the planning commission level. This is an introduction tonight where there is this process to get the information out. That's what we've been explaining to everyone, that this is here. The planning commission may tonight decide to set a public hearing where there is a time for the full-blown public comment. But I know we have some others, Michelle, that came that were not forwarded to you because it's only going to go to the city commission. So you'll get those when we get to the next that are actually in writing. I have told folks that have called, I've tried to explain the process to them. It's not our job to talk about yes, no, anything at that point in time. It's about this is the process, and there will be a time for public comment that will come from this. But it's slowed down now. But I would say a few weeks ago when we first made the introduction of this process to the city commission, a heavy call volume. I would say that compared to what we normally get on things. That's why I think that the process we talked about, and I know I'd sent some stuff out about some potential dates, but we can get into that. And I know, Eric, we've talked a little bit about it, a little bit different in date time, that we would make sure that we have a venue that's large enough and it won't be on Zoom, that we will have been out of this process now on Zoom and be able to do an in-person meeting because it's important enough for us to be able to do it in that kind of forum.
Can I speak on this real quick?
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're coming from. I don't see anybody on the screen, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. There should be a photo up there. Now, my name is Robbie Rodriguez.
I think we got to make sure that we don't get into anything that's out of our protocol here, because this is not a public hearing at this point in time. There will be a public hearing and there will be a time for public comment at the end of it.
I understand that. I completely understand how you guys have to do the process. What I wanted to say is I'm asking you guys to prevent the issue from even arising from going into the rezoning. I understand that there's a request for it and that you guys can say yes or no or prevent it. I'm hoping that you guys do prevent it, because I heard you speak about all these people that are approaching, and I haven't met one person that said, yeah, let's do this. No one, not anyone I know in this area is wanting to have a refugee camp in Gratiot County. And I really hope you guys can stop this before it gets started. I mean, the fact is if we continue this, if we even so much as give this steam, we're going to be enabling the border crisis. We're not going to be helping it.
I would like to second that.
Well,
that's why
it's risen 173% since last year.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comments. But at this time, the protocol is that we can't do the public hearing.
Right.
I would like to second that, please.
We understand your concerns, but if you want to,
I want to halt this. Stop it right now.
Okay, but we can't do that particularly at this meeting.
We're asking you, you are paid by us. You can do this. Stop it.
This group is not a paid group. This is volunteers from the community that
I'm
give
just
their
asking you
time
guys to consider
and,
doing what you can to prevent it. That's what I'm asking.
They're Masonic Home has asked for this request. They are a standing member of the community. They have the right to ask for it, just like you or any business you're involved in, to ask for a special use, a permitted use, a conditional rezoning like this. We just went through one tonight. I would just hope that everybody would just listen to everybody, and we're taking your comments in also. And like I said, we'll get to the public hearing, but
we don't want a public hearing. We want you to stop this now.
That's not the process. We have to have a public hearing. And so
that's exactly why we're trying to limit the scope of comments and stuff. Was save your comments for the public hearing. Write them down. Write down questions, comments, whatever. That'll be a really good format for you.
Okay, you guys are volunteers. You said you're volunteers, correct?
That is correct.
How do we build a task force of volunteers just like you that opposed us?
There's a misconception that there's been a decision made here. There's been
you don't think there's been a decision made? We've already heard there's a date set for the public. A date set for the public hearing.
Well, correct. That is part of the process. As we had public hearings on some of the other stuff tonight, that's the process that is followed to get to the public hearing. This has not been moved to the city commission. This sits in the part of the process that we're going through right now. Everyone I've talked to on the phone, it's the exact same thing I've had to explain. The process is it's introduced to the planning commission. The planning commission then will set a public hearing date where all of this then can be heard. And then the recommendation is made if it even gets to the city commission or not. And the city commission will have some things to do there. There's nothing been decided. This is the start of the process. And yes, it will be advertised. I see some of that. It will most likely be at the July meeting, trying to make sure, and we're looking for the venue that would change to make sure we can accommodate all the folks that we would need to be there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I guess planning commission, you got any other questions or comments before we decide whether we want to do the public hearing or when we want to do it?
Well, I think we owe the property owners the courtesy of, holding a public hearing, just like we would any other tax-paying entity or any other entity in our community.
Well, I think I have to agree with that. We have to at least let the public hear we have to hear what the public has to say one way or the other before we decide. And then, if I remember right, Matt, even if we were to recommend it to the city commission, they have another public hearing too, don't they?
That's a possibility. Yes.
I believe the
process to go through. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that's going to be done in the next 2 days. That's for sure.
No. And I think that the reason that we'd like to make sure that we're getting a date is a date that fits for everybody on this commission so that everybody can be there. Eric and I have talked. I think that, we had planned either a special meeting, because we know that there's enough interest and enough folks who want to have their voice heard on this. We do look at and Eric, I believe we were looking at July 12th, correct?
Yes, that would be our typical planning commission meeting, because we get the 4th of July weekend. we usually put that to the next Monday. So that would be what would be normally our normal plan commission. We just got to make sure we have the venue that we need to accommodate everyone.
And I put that request in today so that we can get a larger venue in order to do that.
All right. So any other questions or discussion before we decide if we want to do July 12th, or does that date work for everybody? And do I hear a motion to set that date?
I'll make a motion. We set the hearing for July 12th.
Support.
All right, I got motion and support to set a public hearing for July 12th, 2021, and the venue will be announced shortly. I would take it, right? Eric or Greg or Matt or somebody.
We are working with the Alma Public Schools to use their auditorium as the venue we're trying to secure.
All right, and that will be noticed in the usual places, right, Eric?
That will be in the paper. It'll be on our website in a couple different locations. One, the public notice location, planning and zoning, and then this is a big enough topic that we'll put out a couple Facebook posts too.
All right, and with that, I have a motion and support to set a public hearing for July 12th, 2021. All those in favor, give me a aye and a thumbs up.
Aye.
I don't see anybody opposing, so I guess we have a meeting set for July 12th, 2021, a public hearing for this. And I'm sure there'll be other things on the agenda too, hopefully. Unless that's a special meeting. That's be our regular one, right, Eric?
That should be our regular one, Don. And at this point, I don't have anything for the agenda yet. So
Yep.
I'm going to try to keep that a single item agenda.
Okay. We'll go from there. Thank you, everybody. What else you got, Eric? Anything?
That is all from staff tonight.
That's it. All right. I'll take Jim's usual motion and support to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, give me a thumbs up.
Aye.
And thank you, everybody. And then Matt, I got a question for you when you get a minute.
Sure.
Everybody else out.
I got you.
Somebody was asking me about